What's good, everybody? Yes, your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, and we are back at it again with another episode of the Hall of Game. And this topic was brought by brother Dr. D, but he is not, white man is holding him back for whatever reason. So, he's not with us tonight. But you know what? I do have an expert, brother, that we can weigh in on the topic. And today, what we are talking about is I shocked my family by bringing home a black woman. And typically, what this means is, it's for brothers who went, let's say, to a white college or grew up in, around a certain situation, and maybe you were dating white women. Maybe your career was going to a situation where you're around a lot of white chicks or a lot of white people. And then, but when you settle down with an African American or a black woman, a lot of people cannot believe it, right? So we're going to talk about that right now. What's going on, Brother Ali? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
As you know, always, Hassani Ali from the D, your men's motivational coach, blogger, and speaker. Catch me on Coach Ali's Corner, as always, where you find all your latest content on how to be the best man and how to continue to improve your finances and your professional career.
All right. And shout out to Brother Justin. What up, Brother Beatology? Hey, Faith, Hurricane. This is a good topic, man, even though we didn't come up with this idea. And we like, damn, how are we going to pull it off? But we're going to try to pull it off, man. A lot of us, like yourself and me, we did go to the at some points to predominantly white institutions. Maybe we even went to high schools or sometimes that were not predominantly African American. A lot of times in today's day, people are shocked that black men are even still dealing with black women. And as you were talking about a little bit earlier, you were talking about your neighborhood. A lot of black men are dealing with white women, right?
Yeah. A lot of my neighbors will tell me, 6 Mile and Greenfield area, they never thought they would see, white chicks walking up and down the street, especially with brothers on their arms, going to the store, liquor store, hang around in the yard, just being around. Like, we have white folks, jogging, going, on their bike rides. Like, it's, I guess, for me, it's not a big deal because I see it where I'm usually from. But here in Detroit, a predominantly black city, this is kind of like, what do you call it? The Twilight Zone for them, just seeing them out and about, not being threatened by anybody. So, yeah, it's a sight to see.
Let me ask you this, though. For a lot of people, why is that a sight to see?
Because in Detroit, in particularly, it's a predominantly black city, and always has been. And so, when Dan Gilbert, kind of brought up downtown, you kind of expected all white folks to stay downtown. But now that they're kind of trickling out towards, the just towards the inner city and just kind of just populating amongst us, it's a sight, just to see a white person that's not lost, driving around, buying up these small houses, these hipsters that's working, for Dan Gilbert and the Quicken Loans downtown Detroit. For a lot of folks, that's something that they just never thought that they would see. A lot of the well-to-do white folks kind of stay out in the suburbs like Royal Oak or Ferndale or Madison Heights, and so to see them up in Detroit like that is kind of a shocker for a lot of folks, especially for the folks who lived through their parents lived through the segregation era, kind of living through those times, and down to see it just to see the intermixing, in their neighborhood is kind of a shock, just like it would be for white folks when they see black folks rolling up in their neighborhoods, going to their schools, on their football team, basketball team. It's a culture shock for a lot of folks.
Right. Shout out to Brother Mace. Morning, go. Evening, Hassani. Thank you so much. Shout out to African Superstar. I got your call. I just checked and saw your call about a few hours ago. Definitely gonna call you back. Check out African Superstar. Let me ask you this, Hassani. This is this podcast, it unites a lot of brothers. Some brothers are with black women, some brothers are not, right? And on this podcast, like I said, it's no like you have to have this thing to be on here because there's more men. It's just stuff for men. But I've heard Dr. Pat talk about that. He's actually, his family was shocked, once he left And I found it to be funny. He went to HBCU. I think he went to South Carolina State, right? So why would his family be shocked that he's dealing with a black woman when he's from the black community? He went to a HBCU. Why would they still be shocked that he had a black woman?
Because for some reason we have this contorted idea that when a brother goes to get his education, we tend to want to blend in with white society. And so you hear it as the young boy, for those who went to private school, or maybe they had well-to-do parents that taught them the King's English. You hear it as from little girls, like you talk white, you talk proper, you talk like a white boy. And so any variance of that kind of dialect, you are automatically assumed that once you go get an education, go get a degree, you're trying to kind of raise your economic status, that you would automatically go get a white chick. And so for some reason we have this idea that, blacks who try to elevate their socioeconomic status are trying to integrate with the dominant society, getting a white woman, getting a condo, or get a PUD, or plan unit development with what they call with HOA type communities. And so, they just don't expect you to come back. They think once you want to do better for yourself, they have the idea that you want to disassociate yourself from the black community. And so that typically means with the sisters too.
Shout out to brother Tony Davis, 99 Super Chat. Thank you, brother. And thank you again. Let me kind of get back to that. People think that you don't want to come back to the black community. Let's just be honest, because you're from the Midwest. I'm from the West Coast, and although we from different places, when once you see one African American, it seems like we all have the same exact issue everywhere we go. Do you think that most people are right? Once most black men can try to do better, is that a good thought? Like Black America doesn't have a lot to offer a lot of brothers, right? I mean, is that something that is the case?
Economically, yes. A brother knows that when he gets his degree, he can go work for a white institution and make 80K a year, 90K a year, 100K a year. Where are you going to get that in the black community? Am I saying those things are non-existent? Absolutely not. But where are you going to find it? And where are these, companies that brothers can utilize their talents to make that kind of money? Now, on the other side, for a lot of brothers, they only go participate, in the white communities to get a check and go home. So, for a lot of people, what is, you have to pay to play. You wake up in the morning, put your tie on, put your Republican voice on, as they say in Detroit, be social, behave for 8-9 hours, and you go back to your community. And so it's kind of a half and half. Brothers are trying to survive and eat, so they go to the white institutions and, get paid, through their companies. But most of the time, they want a, how do I word it? They want the best economic situation for themselves. If they can move to a safer part of the city that they can afford, both brothers typically do it. So, in Detroit, you have the Boston Edison area where, it's or even Rosedale Park. Those are all, neighborhoods with well-to-do black folks in it. And so you don't have to worry about crime as much. But, a lot of times the best option for folks is just to completely move out.
So no, okay. Let me talk about this, right? Because there are some brothers who have moved out. Shout out to brother Ashworth. He's in Canada area. There's some black men who have moved out. But let's talk about this dating piece though, because there's a myth out there that brothers who somehow find themselves in some kind of form of academics or college, that their cohorts, which are black women, a lot of more black women are in college than black men. But in situations where black men are in college and black women are in college, black women still, for whatever reason, might not gravitate to the same type of collegiate black men. In fact, they are more likely to gravitate to a guy based off of his personality, based off of his, like, quote unquote swag. And, because there's some brothers who are in, levels of academia or levels of professionalism that might not exhibit, the stereotypical things that, what black women are known to like. And because of that, that will force a brother to, who might be friend zoned in Black America, once he goes to, an Asian lady, or once he goes to a black woman or white woman. This is something that happens, and this is probably why a lot of black men are dating interracial relationships. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. And here's the thing, O'Shea, is that a lot of times the sisters tend to choose dick over survival. And unfortunately, the ladies have their fun, and when they start getting sexually active in their early 20s to have a couple kids, and then turn around when they see like the Byron Allens of the world, what's the brother who gave the $1 billion to Morehouse? Robert Smith?
Yes.
The Robert Smiths of the world, where they have a non-melanated chick on their arm, and they're like, he's a sellout. But at the same time, and as and brothers will tell you who've been in that type of arena, is those type of men don't get checked for. And I know it's going to be a back and forth battle over and over again, but for some of these brothers, you have to acknowledge their experiences. And I'll give you a nugget. Typically, for most black men who date interracial, there's two types. There's the brother who's just grown up around white folks, so that's for white chicks are all that they know. Shout out to my best friend Ricky. He grew up in a well-to-do neighborhood, went to private schools all his life. Dated white chicks all his entire life. It wasn't a thing for him. And then you have the brothers who've been, scorned and played, and didn't get that much attention from sisters. And then when a non-black woman, gives him, some type of, validation or some type of attention, based off mutual respect and just enjoyment for that person, then they start looking like, okay, I'm kind of getting some reception over here, so let me go over here and see what this is about. And it just typically get treated better.
Mm-hmm.
Typically.
Yeah, let me talk about Nick and McNichon. Shout out to brother Nick for the follow-up super chat. Thank you. What's up, brother King Nick? Let me just look at this comment. Riley, this is very interesting, even though this is a men's show. But Jessica, I guess what you're saying is for every 100 black women, there's only 79 black men. Sisters got to explore their options. Okay, let's talk about that, right? Because let's just say this, because what we would think is, and if we look at it by mathematical statistics, well, there's 100 black women and 79 black men. But then what you hear is all the time, and I hear the same thing in brothers from the UK, that it's much more difficult a lot of times for one black man to get with a lot of black women, right? And it just, especially, for the guys, and let's not get it messed up, right? Every brother who goes to college is not a nerd. Like, I'm not a nerd, you're not a nerd, right? Like, we could still appeal to the black community. We could still have our fun and stuff like that. But when black women say that, you would think that it's a black man's sea of opportunity with the sisters. But in all actuality, a lot of brothers in Black America are having, time, day. And I will say this. If a black woman is like a 6 or 7 and above, she typically got a lot. I mean, women typically of any race have more options than men. That's just the case, right? A lot right. Of men don't have a lot of options. And also in Black America, even in Africa, right, where it's dirt poor, women still care about your shoes a lot. Like the in Uganda, most people are out here wearing flip-flops and sandals or whatever, right? And women are still picky about your shoes. So think about it. If you're a Ugandan guy and you out here sandaling it up every day and you only making $70 a month, some sister is still like, I can't date you because you got them flip-flops on, right? You get what I'm saying? It's a lot harder. Yeah, it's harder for a lot of guys. Why is it so hard for some brothers, a lot of brothers that have these complaints? Do black women have too much of a high expectation for a lot of black men? as far as
Here,
attitude and personality.
OJ, here's what I'm going to say about it, and this is an honest assessment. This is based on professional brothers that I've spoken to and I've had as clients. Here's the thing: when it comes to what the women who choose for short-term mates and those that they would like to sleep with, there are no expectations. As long as he looks good and it looks like he can lay the pipe, then they don't have to be any expectations because they don't expect anything to come out of it. But when it comes to a long-term mate, when it comes to someone they potentially want to marry, then there's a long list of expectations. And I think where brothers are kind of getting frustrated is that when they look at a sister's dating record, they're looking at like, well, you smashed Tim, Jim, and James, off of cologne and some Tims. And I'm trying to take you seriously, and you want all this from me. And so again, do the ladies have every right to choose what their preferences are? Absolutely. Right. I have no quibbles, no qualms about a woman's dating choices. However, men are taking note about who they choose as short-term mates and long-term mates. And so it's kind of like what Brother Obsidian would say is price gouging. Is, for some, you'll get it for free, and for the not so attractive or nerdy type brothers, you want me to pay full price after everybody else has then had it for free. And so I'm just saying, just based off of what the brothers are expressing, especially in the manosphere, is that for what they look for in short-term mates, no expectations. What they want in a long-term mate, they have every single expectation. Right. And I think that's where brothers are kind of getting frustrated.
Let me also weigh in on that. And I think what we have here is, okay, a lot of my buddies, like I have one of my best friends is a dentist, and there's different type of struggles, right? His parents were both dentists. So his dad was like one of the first people that graduated University of Oklahoma Dental School. And then his mom went also to University of Oklahoma Dental School, right? And so then he ended up going to Meharry. So both his parents had some money, which allowed him to be able to be in the affluent Black African-American communities. And what people don't think is that these communities exist. Like if you go to Howard, you go to Hamptons, some level of HBCU in places like that, Meharry, Morehouse, Spelman, you can, if your parents are like that, you don't deal with some of the same issues that, let's say, the regular brother who didn't have nothing and trying to get into the middle class has to deal with, because your family has somewhat of connections, right? Some of you might be like I know another thing. If you're AME for whatever reason, African Methodist Episcopal, people who are AME, that's like the Beverly Hills of the Black church, right? So most people that are AME, they already in the game, right? AME is just like, or if you Church of God in Christ, something like that, you're big in that. You can. It's easier for you to date Black because you also have the religious aspect. You have I'm AME, I'm Church of God in Christ, and things like that. I found out that if you're not in those unique situations where, my family's in a sorority or fraternities, I'm linked up that kind of way. My dad's a Q. Then if you're the average brother who comes from, let's say, North Philly, you coming from Detroit, you coming from, East St. Louis, Illinois. And then you're trying to say, okay, I'm trying to, build myself up. It's like, number one, you're relatively unknown. A lot of Black people have low expectations for you. A lot of Black women have low expectations for you also. Let's just also see that. A lot of Black women, two things is the problem here. For Black men that's trying to is coming from poverty into the middle class or maybe lower middle class and second generation. Because I'm talking about, for the most part, first and second generation middle class people. Most Black men, most people have low expectations of Black men. So when a Black woman comes across a brother that tends to be a little different, she don't have no expectations of him because a lot of other brothers don't have high expectations. So it's like, oh, you're going to school. Oh, well, that's nice. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like, she sees a guy that's like that. And then she has low expectations for Black men themselves, right? So when the two paths meet, even if she might be a collegiate sister and he might be, if you don't come up in that environment, it makes it rather difficult. So then both people kind of like miss out on one another. Then when this black guy then goes to University of Florida, he goes to University of Kentucky, Ohio State. Well, the white girl that the black female missed out on, the white girl has seen these expectations from her own community. Now, the parents, obviously probably don't want her to bring home a black guy, but she recognizes that this guy has good traits. He reminds me of my dad. He reminds me of my brother. He reminds me of something. So she's already seen these things, right? And so because of that, when she gets to Tyrone or whatever, or they meet at Florida or Boise State, or he's on the football team like you were, then the white girl automatically understands I have a winner. And the black woman doesn't realize that guy was a winner until he with the white girl or whatever. And so a lot of times when, it's just like this guy that just on The Bachelor. There's a new guy on The Bachelor, right? Well, I got to do a show about this. There's a new black guy on The Bachelor, and sisters are already looking at this guy saying he's going to choose the white girl. They already know it. Like first black bachelor, he looks like the white girl type. And I can tell you why he's going to choose the white girl in this season. Because sisters don't typically vibe with guys that are like him. I mean, the guy is not unattractive in my opinion. I mean, no homo, but he's like the kind of the guy that, sisters will look at him and say, oh yeah, he's okay. But it's something that about him, like sisters probably wouldn't really want to deal with him like that. He looks like a nigga that white women would like. You know what I'm saying? Just his whole aura and stuff. So a lot of times, if you do end up with a black woman, it's very shocking. Especially if you have went to Arizona State, you went to USC, you went to Stanford. Like, wait. You stuck in with a black woman, and people looking at you like, nigga, are you crazy? Like, how could you get stuck with her? I mean, but let me ask you this, right? Because that happened. I mean, that's also, you talked about this before on the show. You dated interracially before. Was your parents or people shocked when you got married to an African American? And if that was the case, why?
I'll tell you this, O'Shea. My family thought I was long gone when I bought a white woman home for the prom. Well, we didn't go home. I stopped at my grandmother's 90th birthday party because I didn't want to miss it. So I went in there, just take a couple pictures, say hi to my grandmother. Now, mind you, it was my junior year, so it wasn't like anything was, popping off with this chick. It was just a prom. But by that point, you could tell all the looks that I was getting based off of that, event that, okay, he's dating white chicks only. And mind you, I'm at an all-white high school. And so the two black chicks that were in our school already had dates. And so, unless I was going to find another woman or another young lady to go to, I just found a white chick. It was like, okay, it is what it is. And then so I remember just when I introduced my wife now to my parents. I mean, my parents said, okay, whatever. He's cool. He gonna do what he gonna do anyway. But when I got to my distant family and started bringing my wife around to family events and reunions and funerals and that kind of stuff, and the fact that she was staying around, people were kind of like, he came back? Why did he come back? We thought he was long gone. We thought he was just into white chicks. And to think about it now, it's almost like as a black man, you don't have a choice. You're not allowed to just date around and explore your options. It's either you stay black or you stay white. And when I brought my wife home, they kind of had the look like he actually came back and chose a black chick. And for a lot of people, they were surprised about that. And so again, for some reason, for brothers, we have this notion, notion put upon us that once we go white, we just don't return. And it's not just that we don't explore our options. They just assume once we choose to no longer date black women, we just don't do it, period.
Let me ask you this. Shout out to Brother Rance Turner. Let me read what he had to say here. As soon as I could move straight to an HOA neighborhood with nosy white neighbors, as soon as I could, I moved straight there. Strictly part of my 3 to 5 year business, man. Shout out to Ranch. Shout out to Focus Hard. Let me talk about this. We're talking about this a little bit earlier, right? one thing I noticed, right? I mean, like, was there a reason that you made? Did you make because some brothers make a choice. The one thing I like about black men, especially African American men typically do not give a fuck about how people think. That's one of the traits that black men just don't give a damn. Like they're gonna do what they want to do. Did you make a conscious choice to say, I'm gonna marry an African American? Or
Yeah.
Okay, so that was in your plan.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about that.
And
why did you do that?
Well, here's the reason why, O'Shea, and we talked about this on previous shows before, where I had thoughts about marrying the white chick, not the one from prom. I dated a white chick right before I met my wife, and the reason why I told myself that I would marry a black woman is because it was the cultural differences kind of did it for me.
Okay.
She kind of didn't, she grew up in white suburbia all the way. And so she didn't understand, the adversities of black folks where, we got pulled over one time and, I had my hand on the wheel, you take all the extra precautions, what you do when you encounter a police officer. And she's like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, I'm protecting myself. What do you mean? And so the officer's talking to me, and, she was just kind of like, this is BS. Like, why are you talking to him like that? And I'm trying to get her to to de-escalate the situation. So I'm in a double situation. Like, okay, if I, get snooty with the cop, then, she's going to get riled up. But if I try to, check her, the cop's going to get at me. And so, it was kind of small moments like that where I was like, maybe it just wouldn't work out for me because I don't want to have to explain, the cultural differences between, black folks and white folks. Was she a bad chick? No, not at all. But again, with her living in complete white suburbia and just not knowing what it was like, I was like, you know what? I think for my purpose and for my mission, I think it'd be more suitable if I had a black wife and black kids.
Shout out to brother VEJ48. The brother, I think he spends time between here and Canada. Shout out to the brother. Let me just say this, okay? What I'm gonna say is gonna be probably one of the most controversial things that I'm gonna say. And I agree with you. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm pretty sure you don't mind me sharing this because I'm gonna say it right now. As black men, people may talk about the black community all you want. You could talk to the black community, say it's hood, it's ghetto, it's fucked up, niggas ain't shit. But here's one thing that you do know. It's the only community that you have, and it's a big price to pay once you go out. Like what I'm seeing in black women is, for example, black women who date interracially, although it's not like so many of them, but they can still be accepted by the black community. And the reason why that is because like Bossip and Madame Noir and like Garcelle Beauvoir and Tika Sumter, black women still very much accept those ladies that are with white guys, so they don't pay a huge price in black America for swirling it up. It's like, you go, girl. But even with men and women, a brother that's with a white woman pays a huge price. A black man that's married to a Mexican woman pays a huge price. A black man that's married to anybody, you pay a big, 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 big price. Nobody wants to talk about that, but you just do. You pay a huge, significant price. And there are just a lot of things that you are now, even though you can talk about the black community ain't shit, but people don't, number one, and that's another thing too, is this white woman that, and let me just be honest, people think like, with some of my rants that I'm just so anti everything that's not this, right? Okay. And I'm not, but I live in Poland. Okay. And I can tell you, it's a huge price to pay. Not even on the black side, it's a huge price to pay on the other side. See, what people don't want to talk about is a lot of people respect you more with your own people. And that's something that I realized I kind of got woke to that when Obama won the presidency. And something that we don't want to talk about is this. If Barack Obama had a white wife, he wouldn't have never even became a senator. See, that's something that we don't want to talk about. Barack Obama won the White House in part, number one, the black community supported him because he had a black wife, and the white community supported him because he had a black wife. Well, a lot of people don't want to talk about is white people appreciate it more if you're not with they people. Like, that's something that people just don't understand. Like, the respect. Like, when I had Dita, she was living with me in Poland, and we were African American couple in Poland, and Polish people were shocked. Like, you're two black people and you guys are together in Poland, and that people have much more respect for us. Like, what that, you know? So, and the thing about it is this: it's like, if you want to do things where, you know, that you want to do things as black community based. Now, you might be with somebody that's not black, but you might still have a love for the black community, and you just might be with this person because this person is white or this person is Mexican. But there's so much, like, the way that the way that Negroes think. Once you go outside of that realm, it's always a problem. You never. It's something like it's like a stain you can't get off of you. Like, the worst thing that a black person can do, like Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose does so much for the black community. Woman is white, doesn't matter. It's all for fail. Jalen Rose is always going to be looked at as a sellout. Because, you know, the black community is very, and a lot of its thought processes is very pro, at least on the outside, pro-black. They like to see their, and that's another thing too. If you are like a guy that's not doing very well, it doesn't matter. But once you're a Hassani Ali, or you are a O'Shea Duke Jackson, you're $80,000, $90,000 a year person, like, you're doing better than an average black man, or you're doing better than, like, you know, like right now I'm performing better than 20% of 80% of white men in America. And now it's like, but you got a white girl. Like, the black community despises guys like that. Now, I know the answer is, well, why didn't they check for us before? And that's true. Why didn't they check for us before? But then everything from then on that you want to do that's black associated, it's a stain on it. And that comes from both men and women. And that's something that I'm thinking about. Like, is this particular woman worth me paying a price for? Because you're going to pay it. Somebody's going to make you pay it. Like, you can go around and act like it doesn't matter. It does matter. You paying that price when you with white women every day, when people look at you funny every day, people talk about you bad every day, people talk about your mixed kids every day. You pay this price for the rest of your life. There's a price you always pay. You can't get it every day. That is a price. And a lot of interracial couples break up not because of what's going on with them. It's just the whole dynamic, you know? And that's something a lot of black men don't want to talk about. A lot of us stay and marry black women, and I'm gonna be honest. And it's not because the sisters are so good to black men. We're just gonna be real. A lot of men deal with black women like, look, hey, I'm in Atlanta. I'm in a black business. This looks good for my business. I'm a black healthcare professional. It looks good for me. Look, I'm gonna just stick with this motherfucker. And, you know, secretly I might be wanting somebody else, but no, because every black man knows what's gonna come out if you deal with everybody knows it. A lot of brothers stayed on cold because, you know, like, black families. I know I'm being long with it, but like my mom, it would break my mom's heart if I brought home somebody that wasn't black. Now, as much as I can say I don't give a damn about that, that does play into my decision. Right? The black community, which is where I come from, which is Del Paso Heights, that does play into my decision, because that does affect my situation too. And when you have a black woman as your mate, it's a strategy. Let's just be real. You know, when you go and deal with a white person in business and you have a white person go talk for you, that's a strategy. A lot of brothers deal with black women because of strategy. We're just gonna be honest about this. Y'all think Tyler Perry, who was dating that chick, got a baby by her? Like everybody knows Tyler Perry gay. It's a strategy. You know, a lot of brothers know that you can't make moves in Black America for the most part without Black women on your arm. That's still highly respected. You can't come with a Hispanic lady or a Dominican lady or a Colombian lady, or sometimes I'm gonna say this too, Hassani, even dealing with African women it can be a problem. Dealing with a Jamaican woman can be a problem. People are not going to respect that as much as dealing with an African American. I'm just telling you what people don't want to talk about. Who is Zero? Why is y'all disagreeing? Get him out of my chat. Bro, you always in here disagreeing. Go disagree somewhere else, nigga. I'm tired of seeing you. Spend some money over here. Bye.
Nigga, you know what's funny?
Who is that dude? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and you know what's funny? I talked about this when we talked about, and when we had the African episode. My brother is married to a West African woman.
Okay.
You know, it has a Black baby, obviously. And it's funny how, you know, even some of the women in my family are like, well, you couldn't find anybody here. There was he had a light-skinned girlfriend that he dated in high school. You know, they were together for a long time until, you know, his final years in college, that they all really liked. And, you know, it was kind of one of those things where he kind of laughed it off. But, you know, and me being younger, I kind of understood the unwritten, you know, or the unspoken language. Like, why does it matter? My wife is still Black.
Yeah.
You know, she still understands the plights that I have as a Black man. And, you know, and for those who believe the history, you know, we come from Africa. So what difference does it make? But for some reason we have, you know, and again, for some reason that's a problem that my brother doesn't have a quote unquote African American wife.
It's a problem.
And so, you know, and he does, my brother does business like normal, you know, lives in a nice neighborhood, lives in northern Kentucky, you know, just kind of does this thing. But, you know, for some reason, that's kind of the things, that's the one thing my siblings, my family members kind of jab at him at, like, you know, you couldn't find anybody else here in America. And it wasn't like he went to Africa and found her. They went to Michigan State together. That was it.
You know what? You're right, man. And shout out to that nigga that was always in there. I think he's that stream team nigga. Shout out to Rec Train, brother Gabe A, brother Andre Hatchett, brother Azriel, Wrench. I'm just gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna open up a conversation that we don't typically talk about. Even if you're dating interculturally, a lot of Black people look at it just like it's just the same thing. We do live in a more closer, you know, especially in America where, you know, you have Caribbeans, Trinidadians, you know, they're in the Caribbean culture, a lot of Africans in the same culture, right? So it is more acceptable for a Black man to deal with an African woman. But typically you don't see African-American men marrying African women. You do see, though, more African men marrying African-American women. Now that is okay, right? But if you're the brother that's Hotep, Shahzabeh, and all of that, and you going over there, like, again, it's a double standard. Black women in America can marry African men all day, but you don't see that in the West. You don't see a lot of brothers from America that marry African sisters. And the reason why I believe that's the case is, number one, a lot of African families, there's a kind of what would I say? Kind of a hold on them dealing with African-American men that kind of taught early on. And a lot of African women are highly educated and they're looking for somebody on their level. And I'm just going to be honest. A lot of times the standards their families put on them, many of them are just not as attractive as the kind of guy that they would want to get. That's pretty. Some of them are. Some of them, many of them are not. Okay. You know, if you're a woman that's a doctor and you're a Nigerian lady or a Ghanaian lady, you know, you're not going to get a guy that's like that. And a guy that's in your same community, he can go and get a white girl as a Ghanaian or Nigerian, and it's not a problem. See, the African guys have the benefit of what we don't have. African guys can date white women and date Asian women, and they still Yoruba. They don't pay no. See, that's another thing too we got to talk about. African brothers in the UK, they don't pay no tax. Like they don't pay no price. Only African American men pay a fucking price. See, you can be an African dude You can even, I don't know about Caribbeans, but I know it's a little bit more acceptable. You can be Canadian black guy. You can date white girls and Asian girls and be Ugandan and Kenyan, and it's okay. African American men, if you even think about dating a Ghanaian woman, it's still a problem. Why are you dating that African girl? They ain't our people. And don't let her be mulatto. Oh, we already know what's gonna happen with that. If she's mixed,
shout out to Tyrese.
Right. Like they still stick it in Tariq Nasheed's face all the time. I'm like, wait. Hold on, bro. You talk all this pro-black shit, but you got a mulatto chick. See, this is what I'm saying. So a lot of guys, if you want to stay in the black community, your success in the black community, unless you're a guy that don't give a fuck, if you want to stay in, you better be trying to marry somebody black. That's just number one. That's how it works. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing. Who dictates the black community's economy? Because black men, if black men have more support from one another, then we would be able to it wouldn't be so much of a problem. But a lot of times in the black America, you can't do anything without black women. They are the economy in the black America. I'm not talking about a guy like, guys like us in the manosphere. Obviously, we are very, very different. But that's just kind of the truth. You have to tread really lightly. You can't bring your white girl to your AME church or to St. John's Baptist Church. You can't do that. And you typically, for the most part, it's going to be hard for you to bring your African girl to St. John's Baptist Church either. Because the thing about it is, number one, like you talk about the culture different. One thing I've noticed is like African cultures and African American cultures, there's a lot of similarities and there's a lot that's like, we have smaller families. All right. Like people in Africa or people that's African American, they can drop by your house at any time. It's not a problem, right? Like if you come by my house and don't call, I'm pissed off. Nigga, why you here? You know how we are about that, Hassani. Nigga, what you doing at my house? You better call. They parents can stay, oh, my mama gonna stay for 2 or 3 months. No, the fuck she's not. So that makes it hard too. So I mean, what's your take on that, brother?
You mean as far as a cultural difference?
Yeah, I mean, like if you've ever dated somebody that wasn't African American but still black.
You know what? Actually, here's a funny part. I dated a woman that was Haitian, but she was adopted. Oh. And so so that was definitely a plot twist for your ass. But it was quite the dynamic because you could tell there was a black side of her, but it rarely reared its head because she had white parents. Her and all eight of her siblings were adopted by white parents. And so it was like I got a little bit of the Haitian culture, mostly a white culture. The little bit of black chicks she did hang out with at her white high school, they kind of had the Valley Girl type attitude. You know what I mean? Like still have the black vernacular, but still kind of, in their sentence with a question, and they kind of have the high pitched voice like this, those type of chicks. And so, that's probably the closest I've ever gotten, as far as interculturally. But yeah, that's really about it. I'd say other than that, I've dated, Hispanic chick, an Asian chick, been with black and white chicks. So that's probably the extent of that one, O'Shea.
Let me go ahead here real quick. And shout out to, this is very powerful. My Nigerian Igbo grandparents want me to marry African above all. Yet worst case was much rather prefer I marry white than African American.
Wow.
That's not uncommon, man. Azriel 6394. Brothers, let George Floyd be a lesson to you. Our life expectancy is 72. Don't waste it on damaged women whose mother failed to teach them femininity. Let me talk about that also, brother. One thing I've noticed is this. There are other reasons that, and I'm gonna ask you the same question. Actually, let me ask you this: like, what reasons though, outside of everything that we've talked about, that could be considered pejorative? What are some of the positives that a lot of African American men, when we do want to deal with people in our community, and I'm just talking about African Americans. I understand that we have Black Caribbeans and Black Africans in America too that know our culture, and it's easier to When you come to Africa, you understand how much easier it is to marry somebody in the West. I get it. But what are some of the positives that make black men outside of that, what we talked about, stay in the black community?
And the biggest positive is just relativity. When you have, the chicks who know your plight, the chick who understands you, the chick that knows, basically what you're about, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes, and this is coming from a spiritual perspective, is that when a person sees something in you that you can't, they may want to invest in you. And yes, I know I'm caping there are some good black women out there. I know, sorry, MGTOW crowd, but you know what I'm saying? Like, for a lot of times when a good sister do see, something in you that she wants to, bring out of you, it will benefit her, but it'll benefit you too. She do want to, kind of investigate it. And so I would say the biggest thing is that, when we talk about the raising black families and raising black children, there's like you said, there's a political statement within that. When people see my wife and our kids out shopping together, you know how much respect we get, O'Shea?
A lot.
People just walk up to us. You guys have a beautiful family. I hope you guys, stick together and stay together. And we're just like, right. We just came to get tonight's dinner. Like this wasn't to be a political statement, but when people don't see it, it's such a leadership position because you don't see it very often. And so a lot of times when for the people who do believe in the community and for those who want to set the example, that's one of the first things you do is you settle down with the family and, you stay in your city so people can see that you're a living example of what it's like. Now, as far as the benefits, that's a whole different that's another conversation. But at the same time, the positive factors will definitely be, you're elevated in a lot of people's eyes because you were able to make it work with someone in your race of the opposite sex. And for a lot of people, that's a $1 million jigsaw puzzle. And the fact that you were able to figure it out says a lot about you.
You know what? Let me build on that. And shout out to Brother Marcus Love. Salute to the Hall of Game. Let me just say this, right? I know we talked about some things that could be negative about our people, but you don't really get an appreciation a lot of times, right? For African American, I've been out of the country full time for the last close to 5 years. It'd be 5 years in September. Hold on a second. This nigga David Nino, Team Ling Ling. You making $100,000 a year, nigga? You gonna give me $2? Nigga, show me that. Make it rain. Put 100 in there for the Swirl team. Thank you, brother, for the $2 with your cheap ass. Let me just say this though. One thing that you notice when you live overseas is that when you want to get away from your people, like it's like, damn, I'm finally getting away from home and I get away from these niggas. Then you'd be like, damn, man, it's like hard to relate. You know what I mean? And like African American women are, like Muhammad Ali said it. He said there's no group of women that can understand black men like black American Negro women. And I actually believe that's the truth. I mean, no matter, one of the things that I gotta, I have a hard time with is like when you deal with somebody in the African American community or outside the community, it's like, do they really like you? Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, white women and people in America can truly love you for you, right? But the thing about it is a lot of black women are just really straight to the point, which is what I could tend to like. If they don't like something, they pretty much tell you. And the relativity is there. We speak the same Ebonics. We can speak the same things. It's an easy transitions. If you go to this church, you sing the same songs. You're very compatible up front. We got the same. A lot of African American women, in my opinion, are more funnier. They like to. They're more lively. So that the time around them for me is much more enjoyable. They can fit into the family a lot easier, and you can relate more to their family also. And that's another thing too, that a lot of times what brothers are looking for is a lot of relativity, right? That because obviously, like you're talking about, when you're with the white woman or maybe even with the African woman or something, you get pulled over by the police. You know, that's something that don't happen in Uganda, or something that may not happen to them. But Black women understand this plight. When we talk about the George Floyd situation, you ain't got to talk about this with sisters. This is something that we know. They understand that, you know, certain things are against brothers and stuff like that. And you know, the way that a sister understands a Black man, while, you know, there's some, you know, there could be some hatred in the group, but there's nobody that could understand where I'm coming from, like an African American person or a person that grew up around Black people, you know, and that could be even, you know, people that's in the Black community that grew up around us, you know, the Haitian, Jamaican, whoever. But, you know, African American women give you a certain level of comfortability. I can say this also. This is going to be offensive. It is also, once you have got to where you can get, you know, it's a lot cheaper too. I'll have to be honest. Let me go back to this piece. Because Black women have such low expectations of Black men, and if you are a Black man that is exceeding, and this is not to be offensive, this is just the truth, you're gonna get a real good deal on a chick. It's much easier for you to get a woman that don't have kids, that's thick, that look good, that understand what you got going on, that's gonna do what the hell you're talking about. That's gonna come a lot. It comes very easy, relatively easier, you know, because you're just performing better than so many guys. And don't get me wrong, Black women just don't like you for your money or whatever. But if you're a brother that, you know, you're confident you have something going on, a lot of guys just don't have a lot of stuff going on. That's just the truth. A lot of guys don't have anything going on. And
that's true.
For the brother that is, you know, on the move, that's creating, that's doing something, it's not like, you know, sisters are not checking for guys like that, like Brother George Macon says. You know, sisters want to know whose names are on those credits, right? Productions credits. And if you're a Black guy and you're doing, you know, a little bit above average, hey man, you got a lot of access. You know, doing over average in the Black America, there's a big payoff for it also. And I will have to say that a lot of brothers out there, and this is just to be honest, a lot of guys that I see that's complaining about a lot of things. A lot of these guys not. I mean, I'm just gonna be real, man. A lot of these guys are not successful. Okay, I just don't really hear a lot of successful brothers that when I say about, you know, they have problems with Black women. You have a lot of niggas pretending to be successful. A lot of niggas ain't successful, bro. A lot of niggas will come online and say they're making $100,000 a year. A lot of niggas will come on here and say they're making $70,000 a year. They're making $90,000 a year. No, they not. You know, a lot of niggas will say anything. A lot of niggas are broken, dusty. A lot of niggas don't have shit. And a lot of niggas who complain about, you know, the issues that they have with Black women. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can have those issues with anybody, but that, you know, it's too easy to make it in Black America if you just have a little bit of something going on. Like, that's the most opportunity you can have. And a lot of Black men are just so unmotivated, you know? And if you live in a place like Atlanta, you live in a place like Memphis, you live in a place like Detroit. I mean, come on, man. Like, are you talking about thick? Are you talking about, you know, you want a woman? Like, it's like, you know what? Can I say this, bro? I want to say this. This is gonna be offensive, bro. And don't put this on the record, Hassani. But check this out. I went to Rio de Janeiro, Tony. It was somebody who looked like me. It wasn't me, right? I went into, I don't know, what was it, a whorehouse? So I walked into this whorehouse, right? I mean, somebody who looked like me walked in, went upstairs, and it was like they give you a menu like McDonald's,
hypothetically,
right? I think Marcus Love, what's the one I was talking about, right? They closed it down. There was like, you go in this door, and there's like 50 women that you can choose from. And as long as you pay for it, it's yours, right? I mean, whatever they look like. I've never seen anything like that before. It was the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. Couldn't keep it up because I was nervous. But anyways, that's another story. I mean, it's the most amazing thing. Do you know what having your shit together in Black America is like? It is better than that. It's nothing that you can't get. Like if you are doing pretty good and come on, man, this is nothing that you can't do. Like it's wide open. Everything is wide open. So I just don't understand that guys who don't understand this, there's nobody you can't get, bro. You can get a lot of people. And I think that's the advantage that Black men have. Black women can do very well in Black America and can't get shit. You can make $500,000 a year, you can't get nothing. Nigga, go to South Carolina or go to Jackson, Mississippi and be a nigga making $100,000 a year or be a nigga that's doing good and you got something on the move. There is no women gravitate to people like you, not even just because you got money, but just because you somebody that's doing something they respect it. A lot of niggas not doing nothing. A lot of niggas are doing zero, bro. Like, do you understand how lazy a lot of niggas are? Nothing. And if you are like if you got something that you can give a woman some game or she can learn something from you and respect you, Black America is full of niggas that do nothing, bro. Zero every day. Just talk about shit. This is why. And if you've been to DC, you've been to Baltimore. Do you know how fine these girls are? Ladies are. These women are beautiful. They could be like, I don't want you. No, go over there. And you could be an ugly nigga saying this too, and they get their feelings. Like, I don't want you. Bye. No, you're too short. Thank you. This is all day. You know what I'm saying? This is every day. Go ahead, brother. Preach to him about that, brother.
No, and here's the thing, O'Shea, and shout out to the dating coaches who harp on this fact, because here's the one thing I do agree with, and every man should strive to do this, because here's the thing with when it comes to women is that women wait at the finish line and fuck the winners.
Yep.
It is what it is. And at the time, like when I met my wife, we were both in school. I didn't have nothing, she didn't have nothing, so and she stayed with me while I built something. And so the problem is that, yes, for a lot of us, we do want that chick, the day one chick who stays with us while we we build something and they stay loyal to us. But guess what? If you don't have one, then why not just focus on climbing to the top? So once you get up there, you would have your choice of women. And I think that's where a lot of brothers fail to realize is that instead of complaining about the natures of women, you could work on what you have, what work on your weaknesses, and once those improve, you have your choice at them. My whole thing is that instead of cold approaching, instead of approaching chicks at bars or clubs, why won't you just focus on your purpose like you're supposed to be doing, and chicks will come to you. Whatever expertise, whatever field you're in. If you're holding a seminar, if you're holding a conference, if you're helping people get their money up, trust me, the women will come to you. And I think a lot of times I'll say we, just for the sake of, men, we mask this, we deflect female nature for our lack of ambition and drive. We do women only want men with money, so I'm not going to sit here and make money. No, bro, you lazy. Call it for what it is. And I would rather you say, I'm just lazy and I don't want to put in the work, rather than just masking it. Well, women only want dudes with money. Now, is that true? Of course. Women look for stability. That it is what it is. You can't get around that. But at the same time, instead of focusing on women so much, why don't you focus on what you're supposed to be doing with your life? If you're supposed to be an author, why aren't you writing your book? If you're supposed to be on YouTube, why aren't you working on a YouTube video? If you're supposed to be getting in shape, why aren't you, focusing your time at the gym? And once those things, pan out for you, watch how the choices of women, increase for you. And I tell the women the same thing. When you drop 100 pounds, watch the choices of men, the selection of men that you have, the quality of men increase. when you drop that attitude, watch the quality of men that you have in your lineup increase. A lot of times we don't want to do the work. We just kind of have a wish list of what we want to see and what type of women we believe we're entitled to, and vice versa. But again, when you have that drive, you don't give a shit. You're like, I want to become the best YouTuber. I want to become the best, author, or number one, on the New York Times seller. I want to be the best bodybuilder. And women are a luxury on top of everything else once you earn it. And that's what I think a lot of brothers don't understand. It's just like, I want a woman while I'm building. I want a woman, while I'm struggling. If you want that, that's cool. But mind you, she may not be the IG model that you want. And a lot of times, and I'll be honest with you, O'Shea, because I talked about this in a show before, how a lot of brothers don't like investing in women. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is I tell the story all the time about my wife. Mm-hmm. Nerdy Star Trek, Star Wars t-shirt wearing, glasses, baggy, jeans and tennis shoes. And, I was like, check this out. Let me, trade those tennis shoes in for some heels. Mm-hmm. Change those, those mom jeans for some slim rise, or what do you call it, slim jeans or whatever. Trade that t-shirt in for a blouse, put some makeup on, do your hair, and complete transformation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of part of the, giving her, the level up treatment, based on what you would like to see in her. And a lot of times brothers don't want to do it because they just want the plug and play mate. How a sister would like, a man to make six figures and just spend money on him because she's a woman. Like, we got to get out of this idea that we're just entitled to stuff. When you work on yourself as a man and you develop what you're supposed to, a lot of people would be in better places if they weren't focused on women all the time. Mm-hmm. O'Shea, how many professional athletes, or let me take that back, how many athletes do you know could have made it professional if they would have just stopped messing with chicks or put the weed down? Yeah. How many people right here on YouTube who would have great YouTube channels, but instead of focusing on the content, they're flirting with women in the chat?
Yep.
Uh-oh. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just focus on what you're supposed to be focused on, and a lot of things will come to you. You don't have to go chase it. We do the the men we are prize, chant, which is true, but you gotta start acting like it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, as brothers, we have so many things that we have to, do at the end of the day, and entertaining women should be last on our list. Mm-hmm. For those in the church, it goes, God, man, woman, then children. So, whatever, and I'm just saying, for those who are in the church or for those in a religious background, if you're not doing what God is, instructing you to do, using your talents to make the world a better place, why are you worried about a woman right now? If you need to get, if you need to get a nut off, you know what I'm saying, there's porn up for that. And if worst case scenario, you can go pay for it. But you need to be focused on what's going to be your contribution to this planet and how it's going to make you money. And a lot of your situations will improve once you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Shout out to Brother Terrence B. I just got my first place. A lot has changed since my last interview. Shout out to Tony D. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to, we're going to turn it over to Brother Gabe, but I need some brothers to subscribe to Coach Ali's Corner. He's been faithful every day coming on. I want to help him get to 350 subscribers. So if you guys that want to subscribe, press 1. Want you to support Coach Ali. And yes, the Manosphere Awards are coming in July the 1st. We are going all month. Yes, we got best UK YouTuber this year. We got new categories. Best financial live stream channel, best financial channel. We got like 10 new categories, right? So you guys don't have to pay no money into it or nothing like that. We're just going to do it for fun. It's going to be very, very good. Moderator awards going out, best female moderator, all kind of stuff. So let me just say this real quick before we go into to Brother Ali. Let me just say this, Gabe. Thank you, Brother Sandman, for the donation. Listen, man, a lot of people are not going to be for you, right? And I think a lot of times a lot of brothers get caught up in, oh, well, the chick didn't want me when I didn't have nothing. Well, listen, I understand that, right? I will say this: a lot of non-black chicks will stick with a person when they don't have a lot. And some sisters may stick with a dude that don't have nothing if he's exceptionally good looking. I mean, I get that, right? That's why Denzel's Washington's wife probably stayed with him when he didn't have nothing. Okay, I get it. So, but here's the situation though. All men are not created equal. All right. If you're a guy, you're not that good looking, or you're not as tall, or maybe you might not be as good looking right now. You might not be as good looking when you're 16 than when you are when you're 24. You see, a lot of brothers blossom and their looks blossom, their bodies blossom. You know, what as a man, when you was 16, 17, you was corny. But now you 27, you might be 30. You look a lot better. Some brothers look a lot better when they 40 than when they was 25. It depends on you, right? So, and you got to also understand that you can't let that, bother you. Oh, when I was broke, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all want me. That's how most people are, man. Most people don't want to mess with nobody who don't have anything. Like, that's just really what it is. And the girls that want to deal with you when you don't have anything, let's be honest, do you really want them? Like, how many of you niggas, since your life got better, the chicks that you deal with are better looking? Do you still deal with the same chicks that when you was broke working at KFC? No, you don't even want to talk to them no more, right? Because, Big Tasha, Big Lakeisha, Fat Pat and all of them that you was hitting off and shit, you don't want to even fuck with them no more. If you see Fat Pat in the mall and you see her now, you be acting like you don't know her, right? Yeah. But all of a sudden, when you was dusty and when you was broke, like, come on, like, you want somebody to stick with you, but you don't want to deal with Fat Tasha that was giving it up to you when you didn't have shit, when you was over there not claiming her. Yes, that was you over there hitting it. Yes, that was over there. You had your tongue all in the box. That was you. That's you. We all know that was you. So at the same time, when you level up and you got your money, now you're not on her no more. You ain't got time to Fat Tasha. You ain't gonna tell nobody you was hitting it back in the day, but you was. So all of a sudden, when you was, Dusty Rodney and shit, and you didn't have nothing, and you was dealing a Toyota Corolla, you supposed to get the best prime pussy at that time. It wasn't your time right now. That's just like, what did Paul say in due season? Sometimes it's not your time. A lot of black men gotta stop getting mad and being hypocritical because sometimes it's not your time, bro. Your time might not come to you 35. Who was this guy that made a lot of money? Here in Uganda. Sudhir Rupiella, right? I want to talk about this guy real quick. He was a billionaire in Uganda. His time wasn't until he was like 40. You know what I'm saying? He was broke. He's broke for a long time. But when he was 40, it came together. By the time he was 35, it came together. So he's supposed to go back and be like, man, fuck all you hoes that want me to have nothing. Well, he didn't have shit. That's the men got to have something. If you're not exceptionally good looking or exceptionally tall or exceptionally whatever, and you struggling, I mean, you know what time, especially in the black community, bro, don't take it personal. That's how it is. Well, the white girl that I'm dealing with, she loved me for me. Okay. Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it happens. These things happen in the white community also. Like, listen to Tom Leykis. What does Tom Leykis say? Tom Leykis says the same thing. When he was young and he was broke, he was dealing with fat chicks. He even encourages men to deal with fat chicks until they get money to practice.
Whoa. Nah.
Yeah, he should have put a ring on Fat Tasha when he got on. No, he don't want to put a ring on Fat Tasha. That's the truth. So, brothers got to understand that. But go ahead, brother Gabe. Go ahead and build on that, brother.
No, I was going to say, hey, what's up, Ali? Hey, what's up, O'Shea? Yeah, just getting to it. I kind of wanted to hit an earlier point that you guys were talking about as it concerns that whole, I think it's kind of different, right? Because I think that a lot of times, just as you guys were just mentioning, a lot of times black men have bad experiences with African-American women in their community. And then all of a sudden they're all bad, literally all of them are put into the same exact category as it concerns what a bad, like they say all black women are bad because I went through this bad experience with some black women from where I grew up in. And then I think that what that changes into is that it changed into almost a fetishizing of foreign women without even really dealing with real foreign women. It's just a weird thing to me because I'm like, yo, if y'all have ever dealt with them, there is a learning curve that you have to go through in order to really even be accepted by not only the ladies, but that lady's family. Prime example, right? I used to so like my dad's from Nigeria and my mom is from America, but I was raised in an African American community, so I'm like Killmonger or whatever, right? My dad just left me in the hood to like fend for myself, pretty much. So I'm going back to Nigeria. I'm claiming the crown, but anyway. So I grew up African American, so I didn't have a big exposure to Nigerian culture. A little bit here and there, but nothing crazy. So when I got older, like in my 20s or so, I was actually trying to talk to this Nigerian young lady, and man, if I like, and this is like after college and everything, I'm good, right? At this point, I'm working as an engineer. I'm like doing my thing, and I'm trying to get with her. I'm trying to talk to her, and she's just playing me. I mean, playing me like I ain't doing nothing in life, like I'm not really accomplishing anything, asking about who my father is, what tribe I came from. I mean, just playing me on a continuous basis because she's like, I wouldn't say like, well, she was very much so about her culture, and so was her family. And because I didn't come from that culture, I wasn't really accepted by her or her family, if that makes sense. Even her mom was playing me. Cause I had a conversation with her mom about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I like your daughter and everything. And she was like, yo, why you talking to me about it? Tell her about it. And I'm like, well, I did. She's like, all right, well, does she? I'm like, oh, all right. If this is what I'm walking into, maybe this ain't something that is for me, type of thing. So you know, I think that a lot of brothers need to just recognize that not all foreign ladies are created equal. Like you don't just walk into somebody's culture and marry up their daughter. A lot of times there's a learning curve, and that there is a culture that you have to get familiar with before you even accept it by those individuals, before they'll even give you their daughters. So I think that was a point that I wanted to break up.
Right. No. That's real. And shout out to Azriel. Bible says, don't throw your pearls before swine. Know your worth before a black man before you are the prize. Let me do this real quick, guys. I need 50 people while we in the building. Subscribe to Coach Ali's Corner, right? He has 300 subscribers. Trying to get my brother to 350. Can you guys help me do that? And click on the link right here. Click on the link and hit the subscribe, hit the bell button. Coach Ali has some amazing information for you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Press 1 once you subscribe. I want to see those numbers go up because why? We want to help our brother. Like I said, bring our brother into the business strong, right? He's here every single day. So we want to get Brother Coach Ali's channel to the help him build his community, right? Thank you so much. Thank you, Brother VJ. Thank you, Nisham. Thank you, Brother Mace. Thank you, Brother Yogi Fish, because he has some good game, right? We want to help. And a lot of you brothers to start collaborating with our brother, right? Because we want to help bring our brother into the business. Thank you, guys. And my brother Nick has a new vlog channel, eating Popeye's chicken challenges and shit. So shout out to Coach Ali. We got 312. So keep the subscribers coming up. Kelly Elisa, I hope you subscribe over there. Let me just say this one thing too, right? The brother says, do not cast your pearls unto swine. I think what it is with the black men that are trying to select the right African American woman or any woman in that case. I think what we need to understand, you know, is I don't even deal with the swine piece. I just don't. I mean, not seriously. I'm not even looking for that. Okay. And a lot of brothers, a lot of times we are always focusing on black women have too many kids. They're single moms. They're loud. They got bad attitudes and all of this. Okay. That was 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. Thank you, Black Manosphere. Okay. I mean, come on, like anybody who's doing very well, we already know that these are things that are unacceptable. Having children out of wedlock, looking to get with a professional black man, and he don't have no kids, is unacceptable. That's just what it is. When nobody has to talk to you about this, okay? It's just like when your car's at a red light, running the red light is unacceptable. Okay, being somebody who is, you know, overweight and loud and talking shit is unacceptable. That's already, like, we already know. You can't get into law school at Harvard with a 2.5. Like, these are things that we know. Okay. Right. All the time, though, in black male conversations, we're already talking about like the bad, worst stuff. Who cares? Like most niggas in the black manosphere are always talking about the same things that we know that are against the rules. But the thing about the guys who are, doing things, whatever, they don't even have these conversations, bro. This is not a conversation that a lot of guys have. Like if you come to the Hall of Game,
Right.
we don't talk about single moms. That's not part of our conversation. Like when you come onto the Hall of Game, it should be already known that single moms is something that we don't talk about. That's low tier shit in the manosphere that niggas talk about. That's like a ghetto show or somebody might do on the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. Somebody that's fat, somebody that got bad credit, somebody that got a bad attitude. This is something that we don't talk about because it's already against the rules. Here's what I would be more concerned with as black men. Like for the things that you want to do, like, are you hanging around the people that like you want to be around, both men or women or whatever? Like we try to create these environments that draw the people that should be close to where you are, who you are to you. That's the thing. A lot of times the black men don't come with the right energy in our conversations. And a lot of black women are definitely do that too. Black women have a lot of negative conversations, which keeps them around a lot of negative shit. All right. But a lot of black men also participate in that same foolishness. And we gotta get out of that, right? We gotta get out of, I don't want this and I don't want that and I don't want this, instead of being like, this is what I do want. At least I got respect for, right. We don't talk about those things. We're always talking about what's against the rules. Like we know what's against the rules, but what is the rules? There are people that in the black community, Brother Gabe and Brother Hassani, that we know that we can't work with. Like we know that there's some niggas on some fuck shit. We're not talking about them on this show. I mean, we might say something here and there, but we're not worried about who we can't work with. We are more focused on who we can work with, right?
Yeah.
And that's what black people got to be more focused on. Like a lot of brothers, like, okay, I can work with these people. There's some black women out there, bro, that will, no matter what you do, nigga, you can build a car to the moon made out of Wheaties and wheat bread boxes, nigga, and it's not going to be enough. Fuck them.
Yeah.
We got to stop thinking about people that don't like what we're doing. If they don't like what you do, fuck them. What about what you're doing? Because if you're doing what you're supposed to, somebody going to fuck with you, bro. That's the truth.
Extremely true. And that's
Right.
I was going to say, and that's a prime example. Like, rather than talking about what you don't want, talk about what you do want. I mean, prime example, right? I hear a lot of brothers, a lot of people, and I recognize definitely there is systematic racism within a lot of the financial institutions within America, right? A lot of times they just don't loan out money to certain individuals and certain groups of people. But rather than focusing on what is the systematic racism that's involved in those financial institutions, I look at, and I have looked at, and I've implemented things in order to still get that money so that my business can proliferate. So rather than saying, what don't they give us? I'm like, what would make them what circumstances and situations will make it impossible for them to deny me? Because really, the financial institutions are just trying to make money, right? They make money from the interest of loans. So you write a 700 plus credit score for certain number of assets that are income generating assets, having a certain income. I mean, there are conditions which allow them to not even be able to say no based upon your application. Now, of course, it does force black men to go above and beyond what the status quo is. But am I focusing on that, or am I focusing on I want that money, right? So focusing on what you actually want would get you to where you desire to be, rather than focusing on what you do not want, because that would put you in the opposite direction of where you're trying to be. It's not like a process of elimination. It's rather looking at the positives, the pros, the steps that are involved in you getting to where you desire to get, rather than saying, well, I can't get here. These things are holding me back. No. Forget all that. I need to see, where do I need to go and what do I need to implement in order to get where I desire to get.
No. And you know what, Brother Gabe, if I can add on that, the story sounds so much sweeter when you say, I had to come up with, I had to overcome all these obstacles, and Chase couldn't tell me no on my mortgage. I had to overcome all these obstacles, but I still got my business open. I had to overcome all these obstacles, and I was still able to find a good woman. And a lot of times, as in Black culture, we always know You always have to work harder you have to work 2 times as hard as everyone else to get the same benefits. But at the same time, that should be the story. You should take pride in that story. Unfortunately, the stack of cards that we have against us are what they are. But when you can say, like O'Shea could say, despite all his disparages, he made it, to medical school, and now he's overseas for the first time. Everyone loves adversity stories. And so when you think about people who have made it in whatever field that they're in, whether it's, dating coaches or, financial advisors, what's the best part of their podcast? They tell you when I was broke, when I was struggling, when I was putting my business together, when I was getting ran over by women, when I was getting cheated on. We love those stories because a lot of times we relate to those stories because we either have gone through them or we're going through them right now. And so again, when we talk about what we want and what we want to focus on, it will make your story sound so much sweeter. And what I'll segue into really quickly is, O'Shea, this is going to be very controversial, but I'm going to say it because it's something I had to come to terms with when I was in college, is a lot of brothers do not want to accept the type of women they attract.
Uh-oh.
And I'm being serious because, O'Shea, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little nerdy. So the type of chicks that best vibe with me are chicks who are a little bit nerdy. I'm an athlete, so I attract, some athletic chicks. And so here's the thing. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I've smashed one dime my entire life. One. And it was on some, it was on some, college, I bet you I could wear that ass out type deal. And that was that. But O'Shea, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I tried talking to her, outside the bedroom, she was boring. When it was time to have a meaningful intellectual conversation, she couldn't have one. And I got bored with her real quick. And so when I, got with when I started dating and entertaining chicks who were in the, the nerdy crowd or the athletes who like to work out, we had so much more in common, and I could vibe with them better because we had common interests. And those were the type of chicks that I could attract, the 6, 7s, and the occasional 8s. That's where my lane was for a very long time. And I had to accept that about myself, until I got into the, professional world. I mean, I'm married now, but at the time it was like, okay, this is where my lane is right now. Where, until I can, improve I was in the best shape I could be in, as a football player and a boxer. I wasn't making much money because I was in college, but I had to accept where I was at that moment. And until you say, until I fix this about myself, I won't be able to attract the 9s and 10s that I want, you're going to attract, the type of people that are on your level. And I know it's something we hear all the time, but I mean, there's some truth to it. You know what I mean? The hood chicks, I don't vibe with at all. Right. Because our dialect is different. The things we like to do in our spare time is different. When you come to my house, the first thing you're going to see is my wife and I, our library. We have 300 books right by our fireplace because that's what's important to us. We don't watch that much TV. We don't do love and hip hop. We don't do that kind of thing, those kind of stuff. And that's why we're together, because those are our common interests. But again, we get these complaints from a lot of our brothers, like, these type of chicks don't want to rock with me. But, at the same time, after you have sex with them, they will get on your damn nerves because y'all can't talk about nothing. And so when you think about the chicks you want to lay with, the thing you have to think about at, that night is, if I get this woman pregnant, will she be a decent mother?
Yeah.
And some of us don't want to have that conversation, because we want to have sex with her so bad that we don't want to think about the long run. What if she, tries to use me for a come up? What if things don't go right? Yeah. And so again, and this is not to knock on anybody, but again, we have to realize and assess where we are. We have to know where we are at times. We have to know what's working for us, what's not working for us. And you know what, brothers, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to tell y'all a true story. I was joking around with a friend of mine in college, and I was asking a friend, I was, you know what, how come how come y'all sisters give me a hard time? You know, like I'm in shape, I'm in school, I'm trying to do something for myself. Why y'all give me such a hard time? Why won't you hook me up with some of your friends? Mind you, I'm like 18, 19. And the chick came back and was like, well, you know, you were at the time, because I, you know, wasn't all the shape when I wasn't all the way in shape when I came in for football. But she was like, you're overweight, you talk white, and you're nerdy.
Yep.
One of those things I could change.
Yeah.
So I lost, I put in the extra work during the football season. I worked out after practice. I lost 80 pounds. And so, you know, the white nerdy thing, you know, that's just who I was. But at the same time, the losing weight part I could change.
Atlanta police fake.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of folks, we have to really assess ourselves and say, where can we change? Is our income, you know, is our money funny? Do we still live at home with moms? Do, you know, are we not, you know, the top in our fields? You know, if you're a struggling entrepreneur, you know, can you get stable? We have to have these honest assessments about ourselves. And so once we realize where we are in our lives, you will tend to know what type of level of women you can attract based on where you are in your life. And I'll leave it at that. So I was getting kind of long.
Hassani, very similarly, right? I was in my senior year of high school in Detroit. And what had happened is that me and this young lady, like we had a whole lot of classes together and everything. And we were, you know, we coming to that point where we were about to graduate and everything. And we noticed, and, you know, this is a pretty integral time in our lives. Like we were feeling each other, but we know that she was going down to school. I think she went to TSU. I was staying in Michigan, going way up north of Michigan. We started considering, hey, like, what would a relationship look like? Because we always got along and everything. But she had a different type of life, right? Because I was in a marching band in high school. I love the marching band. I still do a little gigging on the side here and there. And I was in like all these academic programs and everything. And then, but she had a whole different type of situation. She was always with the popular crowd. Yeah, I don't know if I ever told y'all that, but I actually went to school with Big Sean. So Big Sean, like me and Big Sean graduated the same year. But I didn't know who he was because I didn't roll in those crowds. But she ran in those type of crowds. And what she actually told me was that, Gabe, you are for later. You are for somebody. You are for when I'm ready to get married. You're not for now. For like our relationship wouldn't work out now because I'm too much for you. And yeah, we'll probably get back together sometime later down the road. And I'm like, oh, word, like, cause think about that, right? It's like we get along. We both are very ambitious. We desire to go in a lot of like a upwardly mobile type of lifestyle, but she wanted me for later type of thing. And that's okay, right? Because I think that the thing about it is that I don't think a lot of brothers realize where the numbers go, right? Because there's first of all more women than men. So statistically, if you're a man who is doing better in life than the majority of men, especially within your community, I mean, the numbers are just there. So just as you guys were mentioning earlier, women kind of flocking to you and coming towards you as you're moving towards your purpose. It just happens. It's just a natural thing that happens. So, you know, I think that when brothers realize that the numbers are in your favor, if you're on your purpose and moving it in a positive direction, I mean, it leaves a lot less room to be disgruntled and kind of bitter about the past rejections. Because I don't even know the last time I thought about her. Actually, as Hassani was speaking, that was the first time I thought about her, and I don't know how long. So, you know, it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But brothers, the numbers are in your favor if you're moving towards your purpose and you're being successful. It's really nothing that is against you in a lot of these circumstances. So that's just a piece that I wanted to throw in there.
Right. Let me just say this. Overweight, tall, white, nerdy equals wealth and great livers in bed. Thank you, Rodana. Shout out to D Does It. Thank you, brother. $2 super chat. And Bougie Talks, my brother from Tinder. Oh, salute. Y'all go subscribe to brother Bougie. You know, that salute, that's mediocre to salute. I started making content based on my experience in the dating game because I know there's a man out there who is looking for answers like I used to. Change your mindsets, changes who you attract. Guys, go subscribe to Bougie Talks, man. You know, I checked out a few of his videos. I'm definitely gonna have him on by next week. Like I said, you know, my new hood is Bukoto. You know, I claim Bukoto now. You know what I'm saying? It's my hood in these streets. But let me also do this, right? Don't forget, thank you for those people who have subscribed to a brother Hassani Ali's channel. Like I said, he has now 319 subscribers, but I would like to get 350, right? You know, 350 is where we need to be. So if you guys can subscribe to his channel by pressing 1, subscribe, hit the bell. Subscribe and hit the bell, and I might do something real nice, right? If you guys get him to 350, I will release a Thirst Box episode tomorrow, and then on the following day, I will release a Hit the Wall episode. So if you guys do that, I will do both of those, okay? And I have something special. So thank you, Brother Nicer. Keep subscribing. Let me just say this, right? I learned a lot about, like, you know, when you live around other races of people, and what I'm gonna say is gonna come, like, a lot of black people are like mentally messed up. Where I go to school in Poland, we have a few programs. One is the Saudi program, the Saudi Arabian program. Then there is the Taiwanese program, right? And basically what happens is the elites of Taiwan bring their students to study in English. And what the Taiwanese have done in Poland is they operate restaurants. They operate, they now have property there, and they operate whatever, you know, like dental hospitals, everything the Polish people can do, they operate it. All right. And I look at the other groups, the Saudi Arabians that come there, and the blacks that come there from like Africa, because typically that's who comes to Poland. They don't have these things. And I say, and I always see the Asians together. When I see the Africans, I always see the Africans with Polish people, and it made me look at it for myself. Like, a lot of times as blacks, we are looking to leave our communities, but look at the Taiwanese; they can't get this kind of money with if they left their community. The Taiwanese people are monetizing their own people, and I do know they're their own country, right? But if you think about it, you know, you got MSI, you have ASUS. I mean, like, a lot of the hardware stuff that we use for computer parts comes from Taiwan. And I noticed that whenever Asians come to a certain place, they always stick together, you know. And one of the things that I noticed as far as black men is that as we get educated, we feel like, oh man, I'm educated, I gotta leave niggas alone. And then what we also leave is whatever money that was there, where you from. And like me coming to Africa and then me like understanding being away from Black America now, after I look back at it, I'm like, man, the best opportunity was where I was at for me. Because the one thing that I can know, like, I can't get paid doing a white, I could, but I'm not gonna have the autonomy that I would have dealing in the black podcast like I'm dealing now. Like we can now earn money dealing with our own people. And since there's nothing that's there, all of this is nothing but just opportunity. And that's something that we should take advantage of. Like, you can be the big shot in your own ponds. And a lot of times, black men, before we go anywhere, we're not even the big shots in our own ponds yet. Like, a lot of times when the Taiwanese people, or even when Ugandans, when they send their children to schools in America or whatever, they're already big shots in their own ponds. We're the only group of guys that feel like we don't even need to be big shots in our own pond. We should just go somebody else's pond. And we don't, you're never going to have what you're going to have in somebody else's situation. Like, all the information, and I'm talking about this, not just dealing with women or anything like that, just in general. But the best deal that you probably can get with any woman is going to be your own. The best deal you can get with anybody is going to be with your own people. I mean, this is just how it works everywhere in the world. Like, remove the fact that you hate black people and all this stuff, okay? Everybody that makes it big off their own people, usually, for the most part. Like like look at Nigerians, okay? Look at Dangote. Would Dangote have made $25 billion if he would have came to the USA? I don't even think there's one Nigerian. Like, for all the people that come to the United States and want to become rich, none of those Nigerian guys are billionaires. Like, none of them. you never are going to get more from your people, nobody else than from your own folks. It's just that's the thing that you got to understand. And the best deal you always get is with your own people. That's just typically what works. And we're the only group that feels like I'm going to get a better deal somewhere else. And it's just not the truth. This is the reason why a lot of people in Asian communities, Indians, like you think like Indians, why don't Indians marry interracially? The reason why is not that they don't like other groups of people. There's a big price to pay. Their community is so lucrative. It's a big price. I think that a lot of black men got to understand this. We're leaving a lot of opportunities behind. And if we grab a lot of those opportunities that, we letting other people have, we should grab those opportunities. And once we grab those opportunities, then, you're in a better position to tell people like, look, this is how we run it. This is our organization. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. I think the Nation of Islam proved that. The Nation of Islam was in the 60s and 50s. They were a group primarily based off of guys who were in and out of jail. That's really what it was. Like, if you were black in the 50s and 40s and 50s and 60s, no upstanding black person that was a professional would deal with them. You were either AME or national. That was the case. The Nation of Islam were pretty much guys that came out of jail and guys who are not doing really well in America. But they understand the fact that I could take advantage of my own opportunities. We can run our own shit. We could own our own stuff, and we can write our own checks. Then the women that we have are going to respect us. I think that black men just don't get that. I think a lot of times we got to understand that, we got to have more control of the black economy. We got to have more control over black events. We got to have more control over the industries that we can get in and stuff, or create them or fill voids. And then you don't have, and then for the people that's going to give you problems, you just keep them out of things. That's what happens when you have money. When you have money and people talk shit about you, you just keep them out of shit. You make them pay a price. So that's all I wanted to say with that. Anybody else want to talk about that? Or just anything?
Nothing else here. I'm actually going to have to drop off in a second. Got to finish up this work. But thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Brother Ali, any let me see here. What do you want to say?
Really quick, O'Shea, and you have a point. The thing we talked about, this was a couple months ago. It was you, me, Gabe, and Dr. D. Is a lot, especially for a lot of brothers who are in academia and the professional men, is that we kind of have to change the narrative about ourselves. And the reason why that's so important is because, in order for us to get the kind of work in the community and the respect in the community that we need, is that, we don't have, I won't say, we don't get celebrated or validated, but at the same time, when you tell people, I'm in tech, or I'm an engineer, or I'm in this, everybody's like, kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. Compared to like, anybody that's into entertainment or an athlete, that, tends to get more respect in our community. So I think if we were to find a way to change the narrative on those professional brothers, and when they do start to build things in those communities, more people will be on board with it, because we will have the understanding that those type of people and the entities that they're bringing to the communities should be respected, and that those will, help produce the jobs that will help put people in, in profitable careers. Because I don't know what it's like in Sacramento, but here in Detroit, we have trade schools and other vocational schools that help, brothers get jobs and construction, plumbing, like your basic trades. But, the schools are ran by white folks.
Mm.
And I'm thinking about, like, I'm thinking about my neighborhood. I live right behind Renaissance High School, one of the top, high schools in the state, and I think like the top 100, 150 in the country. I'm not sure, but right next to them is a vocational school where brothers can learn construction and other types of trades. And I believe that school is run by white folks, and right here in my neighborhood. But it's one of those things where we do have to provide more for our folks so people can get behind us. and we have to we have to reprogram everyone.
Mhm.
We have to reprogram everyone to say, hey, if somebody puts something in your community, respect it,
Right.
patronize it,
Right.
bring people along. So, when people bring something to you, they know that they're welcomed here.
Right.
There is a Moorish couple here in Detroit, and they've opened up a health store, and they literally help people, change their diets. People come in with diabetes and, cardiovascular issues and, gout, all the typical ailments that African Americans have. And they instruct people one by one, come drink this alkaline water, come eat this fruit, get off that hog, and, as the longer they've been in the community, more people supported them. They've generated, I want to believe, their first month of 6-figure sales since the coronavirus happened. And so that's the type of ability that we have as a community. But again, it takes, it's going to take a two-part effort, one from the brothers, to provide something, and two, for the community to get on board to say, hey, these brothers are trying to do something to make our communities better, and we need to get behind them so we can be more effective and we can have more respect, and people can't come here and just extract all the money out of the neighborhoods, because we have brothers, starting to take back the neighborhood piece by piece.
Right. And that's the conversation that we gotta, as African American men, we gotta be. That's the conversation that we gotta be at. And a lot of times Black men want to talk about respect and submissiveness without talking money, without talking infrastructure, without talking unity, without talking ownership. And you can't have those conversations. That's a broke niggas conversation. It's a dumb niggas conversation. A lot of brothers want to talk conversations about other stuff without, not talking on money. You're not talking about no ownership. You're not talking about any industry that you own. We're not talking about those things. And nobody talks power without having shit. Only we talk about that kind of stuff. And then, early on when I came into the sphere, I was looking at everything as an individual guy, right? Like individually, I understood the individual argument. A lot of Black men, we have very individual arguments. Like me as a person, I have this, and me as a person, I have that. And as an individual, that's true. But as a group of men, we got to understand that when people look at you, you represent the brand. And the African American brand, when people look at you, and I'm going to tell you guys something that, whether you want to believe it or not, Black, white, yellow. See, here's the situation. Black women already know that you don't have shit. That's their point of view, or at least that's where I'm not saying that it's true, but how the way that Black women look at you is when they see you a nigga that don't have shit. I can't get no jobs from you. You don't own nothing. Like, this is what you don't have. All right. When white people and Mexicans and Asians, a Black woman might think that you don't have shit. They know that you don't have shit. This is what they know. They know that where you live at, you don't own it. You don't own no business over there. They know wherever you live, it don't matter where you live in America, you don't own it over there. And if you own something, they're shocked. Like, you own 2-3 houses, like they're shocked. But most people know 99% of niggas, they see you, they already know what's up. So people will be nice to you and they'll say things and stuff, but nobody gonna respect you. I mean, this is why Starbucks and the other groups, they can give you Juneteenth Day. They can do things for you that don't result in anything because you're not looking to have anything like that. Like, you don't request any power or anything or you're not looking to gain it. So when people do things for you, they do things for you that are emotional. That's on your level that you can accept. And a lot of Black men are on just when their arguments is based off emotion. It's not based off of, damn, I actually operate something with other brothers that actually bring industry or bring things or that do things that a lot of people can respect. Well, I'm the individual. I'm not like that. No, you in there like the rest of us. When we all go outside, we all wear the same. We all represent the same African American brand. And the way that most people look at us is that you're a group of niggas that don't have anything. That's the truth. When you come to Africa, I never believed this. Amin Ra. You know why the truth when why African Americans don't get like so much preferential treatment in Africa? When a white man comes to Africa, don't matter if he don't have anything, people know that he possibly have something. When you come to Africa, they know that you don't have shit. Like, you have a passport, but the reason why, you know, a lot of African Americans, when they come to Africa, they don't get like, Africans know that African Americans ain't got no money. I thought he was lying. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, man. The average African person making $1,000 a year, we talking about? No. He's actually right. African people know that African Americans don't really operate or own a lot of shit. So this is the reason why, the same reasons why a lot of black people can't get things done by the Democrats or Republicans are the same reasons why they don't get things done by the African Union, because it's the same game, right? So we have to understand how this game is played. The game is played. People respect people that are doing things that they see that you're doing. That's how it works. I mean, a lot of brothers don't want to talk about it. That's why I always tell brothers, like, we have to be more adamant in what we are doing, and that's so people can see it. Because the more that people see that you are doing things, then that's how you get more respect. That's how you get more. You got to be on more on the radar. And unfortunately, when you don't run these things, then you don't get the respect. So, and you take it personal when people say those things. It's not personal. It's a lot of it is some of the things are false, but then some of the things are not false, and some of the things you just can't get around. When you go to Dominican Republic or to Brazil or to the Philippines, what they know is you a nigga that don't own anything. They know that. You have a few dollars in your pocket, you know, you got $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. You have a credit card, but like as far as like an industry, you don't own nothing. Like everybody knows this about us. So, you know, if that's the case, then you got to figure out like, okay, well then what I need to do. And that's where we need to be talking about now. You know? So, brothers, I know a lot of y'all don't like to hear this, but I mean, it's just true. Shout out to Enigma. O'Shea, when black men are doing well leave the community, we are moving away from the black BS that would drag us down, especially if you're a corporate rather than trades. Good talk, guys. Let me respond to this. There is a lot of hatred amongst blacks that are in the black community. But I'm gonna just be real. If we're talking about hate, and I grew up in the ghetto, like the niggas that are like, let's say the Pookie and Ray Rays, they're not hating on nobody educated. It's really the niggas that are trying to compete in the same situations that they don't own or hate. You know, I just don't. I mean, you can get hate in Black America, but you know, if you solve problems. You know, I see where you're saying. I just don't see where you're saying it too. You know, because you can lose your corporate job, you can lose a whole lot of other stuff. You know, there's a lot of black guys who got businesses that's black dictated, and you know I don't know. I see it from different. I see it from different things, right? Shout out to Observer Mello. But anyways, guys, let's go. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about maybe how to get over breakups. Something like that, right? I think that's pretty cool. We all deal with that. Getting over breakups. Guys, do me a favor. I want to go to Hassani Ali's channel, and I do have a financial show on my other channel coming right after this with brother Lionel Young. Why you should never date broke chicks, right? Never date chicks in debt. Never date women with bad credit. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning here, but I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling, nigga. Anything else you want to say, bro?
Just to respond to that really quickly, O'Shea. And when we say community, that doesn't necessarily mean everyone who's black is in your community.
Right.
There's a reason why there's separate classes, you know, set up in America. So you have the well-to-do black folks, your poor, your poor class, your middle class. So if you want to provide something for your middle class folks, you know, then make that your community. You know, you don't have to provide everything for everybody. Just like with white folks. When white folks do stuff for well-to-do white folks, that doesn't mean that white folks get access to it.
No.
Your community is the people who align with you, with similar values. Just like people may be blood related to you, but that doesn't mean they're family. You have people who will do things for you that you've never met in your entire life, over the people who've known you your entire life. So,
Right.
Community is what you make it. And then I'll leave it at that. For all those who have subscribed, thank you so much for joining the channel. I'll definitely have some good content coming up for you soon. And Chef, you'll have me on tomorrow. Well, let's get it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a show tomorrow, man. How to get over breakups, right? I know it's a basic show, but we don't really talk about that, right? Because a lot of brothers, we assume that this is a red pill space. So, this is something that a lot of guys are not going through, but actuality, it is something that a lot of brothers are going through. We are going to deal with that tomorrow. Again, let me go ahead and do another thing, right? I'm going right over from here to my next show, but I do want to, we got 20 subs. I want to make a last appeal because, again, I want to get Coach Ali's Corner. We want to help him get him monetized, right? So we did get 25 subs. That's pretty good. Guys, do me a favor. Thank you, Sister Rachel. Guys, do me a favor. Brother Olga TV. Olga, man. Oh, man. Maybe you get on the hangout after this. So I might open it up for the show after this, do a little bit of a hangout. Thank you, Brother Yogi Fish. Your old friend brings gang and crimes to your doorstep. I moved to a progressive Black community, but this was more mixed. This was Britain, not the United States. Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely understand that, bro. So, guys, do me a favor. Let's subscribe to Brother Hassani Ali's channel. It is right here, Coach Ali's Corner. And I'm looking for at least 15 more subscribers. And Brother Ellis, make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell. And, he's, like I said, we don't want him to blow up and then, he moved over to white YouTube now. So that's 325. Subscribe. Thank you, Kelly. Can we get 10 more people to subscribe before I get up out of here? Press 1 if you've done so. Thank you for subscribing. Kelly. Yes, that is her. And so we're going to do that. O'Shea, can you do a video from? No. I don't talk about that, man, on my channel. I got too many haters, bro. I'm sorry. I leave a lot of my personal stuff like off of that. So I'm not gonna do a video on that, bro. I can get you to Dr. Kenyon Meadows. That I won't. I got too many haters on this channel, player. But so yeah, that you can email me or something like that. But no, I don't talk about nothing personal on here like that. Thank you so much. All right, let me see what we got here. 328. Can I get 2? All right, 2 more. Thank you, Brother J. Mitch. Thank you so much, brother. And I just need a few more. And then, guys, right after this, we're going to go right over to the show on my other channel. And I just need Ali, Coach Ali. We got 329. Damn. All right. So thank you for subscribing. So subscribe, hit the bell on Coach Ali's Corner. Just take him to 330. And we're helping them bring him into this right here. Coach, what any last words, brother?
No, I just thank you for having me on our show, O'Shea, as always. And remember, brothers, the more you provide for yourself, the more things you have accessible to your doorstep. So the next time, your parents or your mom see you walk in with a Black woman, it won't be in the idea of, she's shocked, but she's happy because the best woman competed for her son and won.
Okay. No, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. The best woman compete. Y'all heard that, right? Compete. All right, 332. Shout out to you, okay? 332. So, guys, what I'm going to do is we're going to go straight over to the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. Why you should not deal with broke chicks with bad credit. Those chicks who are broke with bad credit are going to be mad at this show. It's not my fault that you were broke with bad credit, but we're going to talk about it. So check me out over here. We're going right over to my other channel, right? O'Shea Vlogcast. So meet me over there right now. Damn, man, I'm working fucking crazy hours, bro.
You humping, man.
Yeah, man. White man hold me back, brother. All right, you guys see that right there, right? That's O'Shea Vlogcast. If you're not on subscribed to my O'Shea Vlogcast channel, then you need to be. Where you niggas been at all your life? Go over to O'Shea Vlogcast channel right now, and that is you should run away from broke women with bad credit. It is a financial show with a real pill perspective. So come on over. We're not gonna be over there too long, and we'll be ready to work over there, guys. So thank you so much. See you over on the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. For those of you that want to subscribe over there, it's my secondary channel. It's just like it sounds. O'Shea Vlogcast. Boom. Go subscribe. Hit the bell over there. So we start in about 5 minutes. Thanks again, Brother Ali. See you brothers on the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. We got 4 people waiting. Come over there. Why black men need to avoid broke women with bad credit. We'll talk about those things. Any last words, Ali?
Nope, I'm all squared away. Thanks again, O'Shea.
All right, player. Peace. Thanks so much, man.
Yep, peace.